Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is ScryMind, and this will be a game on Lost Temple, Elf versus Orc. I'm going to be the Elf player, my opponent's going to be the Orc, and he has managed to get the sort of fortunate spawn location being really close to my natural expansion. That's going to make harassing it a little bit easier, though he actually doesn't do a lot of harassing, but you're going to see me go for a fast expansion build order with Ancient War creeping. I'm going to build the Ancient War up at the top of the ramp. That's pretty much the safe spot to build it. Any closer and you risk aggroing the creeps. There are certain spots at certain natural expansions where you can actually build it at the bottom of the ramp. I think here you can build the Ancient War like right here, and the trees are going to block the line of sight as long as you build it close enough to the trees, which is pretty good. I think here you can build it as long as you aren't even with these boulders. I think you can get away with building it a little bit closer, but in terms of an Ancient War. But at any rate, you want to make sure, and I'm actually going for a Priestess. He's going for a really weird build or strategy, creeping with just his Blade Master, and he's going for the Troll Priest and then the Ogre. Now you want to make sure when you're Ancient War creeping, do not get the last hit with the Ancient War, because it will deny you the experience. You do not get experience from kills with Ancients of War. You know, any of your Ancients, if they get the last hit, you don't get the experience. So really important not to deny creeps that way. And I'm going to do a good job until I get to the very last troll. I'm going to be sort of not paying close attention, and I end up last hitting the troll with the Ancient War, which denies me level 2. It looks like this guy is going to be, he just about got killed by the creep, so that's really goofy. But not having level 2 is really annoying. This wasn't any kind of strategy to disguise my creep pattern. You know, getting level 2 does alert your enemy that you possibly crept your expansion. But alternatively, you could have crept these gnolls and this troll camp to get level 2. So it's still not 100% sort of a confirmation just because you've got level 2. And a circlet doesn't necessarily mean you crept your expansion, but it's sort of one indicator. Whereas if I'm only level 2, he might assume that I only crept the troll camp. But anyway, my plan is actually going to be massing tier 1. I was in sort of a weird strategy mood, so I ran over here and saw that he hasn't crept his expansion. These two trolls are left, so I'm going to sit here and wait, and I see his Blade Master come over here, so I feel like this is going to be really good news for me. I might be able to get this kill here. I don't get that troll kill, but I do steal the item, the tome, and I am actually going to be able to steal this last troll kill here in a second. I want to make sure he doesn't pop out a Windwalk and steal that kill easily. His Windwalk is about to run out. I know that, so I just wait, and I get the last hit just barely, and I get level 2, which is great. Now I've got the Owl Scout. I can run that into his base, fly that into his base, and see what's up. I see, of course, that he's got towers, he's got 2 bestiaries, and he's going to tier 3. No barracks, and I can see his tower location, his burrow location. So that's pretty useful. Now I know that I need to get some anti-air, just in case he goes for Bat Riders or Wind Riders. I've got 3 Ancients of War. I can pump units pretty quickly with that expansion to fund it. Not quite finished yet, but soon it will be finished. Now I know I need to keep an eye on his expansion because he's cleared. It's been cleared, so at any point he can go tower it. And since I did see his peons going over there with the Owl Scout, so I'm going to go immediately over there and cancel these. He's going to run into some archers. He actually doesn't get the kill there, which is pretty fortunate for me. But so he's going for Wind Riders, and I cancel these towers, and I'm going to kill several peons here. Get level 3, which is again another useful thing, since I can get level 2 Scout Owl, and really just camp owls in his base, and there's nothing he can do. I can see pretty much what he's going to be doing. If his army TPs or whatever, I can follow those. If he gets bat riders, I could have the owls follow the bat riders, and I really deal with that pretty well. So now he is in a really bad spot because first of all, he was going for wind riders, which the only thing you can really do with wind riders is harass my wisps. As long as I've got protectors or ancients of war in my base, or not ancients of war, archers in my base, which I'm leaving some here, I can defend a handful of wind riders, certainly one or two. Plus, if I'm pressing his base like I was doing there, he's gonna have to decide what he wants to do. Does he want to harass my wisps? You'll notice I built two ancient protectors there, just in case he decided to try that. In addition to, I'm going to be building another ancient war here, so I can, at any point I can just pop out some archers. He did manage to kill a bunch of archers with his Blade Master and his towers. His base actually is set up pretty well. The towers being behind the altar, the bestiary, the voodoo lounge, burrows being behind everything else. He is going to have a pretty formidable defense, especially for tier 1 if I don't get any ballista or glaive throwers, which I don't. I really, I could have done that. And at this point, my army is so big, I probably could have got away with it. A lot of times you don't want to do that against Orc. This guy was sort of not that great of a player. He didn't really do that well with the strategy or the micro, but generally against Orc, if they've got, if their skills are pretty decent, it's really risky to start building glaive throwers because they are pretty costly. They cost 3 food, 210 gold. In terms of like compared to a huntress, it's pretty similar. They cost a lot of wood, but that's 3 food. That's not really going to be useful against anything but buildings, especially if he's going for air. If he's going mass wind riders, glaive throwers don't do anything to the wind riders. So if you have archers and glaive throwers, and he's going for, say, a Blade Master and wind riders, it gives him the opportunity, if he can outnumber your archers or just sort of kill them, then your glaive throwers are going to be very vulnerable. The alternative is just to go for the glaive throwers with the air, because the glaive throwers are pretty easy to kill. They don't get any armor upgrades. They just they don't benefit from upgrades in that way. You can get attack upgrades on them, but not armor upgrades. And a Blade Master alone is generally enough to, especially with like an invulnerability potion or a healing potion and Wind Walk, especially if I don't have like Entangle or something. And even Entangle isn't that great, but he can generally just run in there, kill the glaive throwers with, one volley or of his hero and his air units, and once he kills the glaive throwers, I'm back to the same situation where I've just got archers against towers, and it's going to just be the same situation, except I'm going to have fewer archers because I built glaive throwers, which their build time is more than archers. They cost more than archers, and again, 3 food, etc. So anyway, once again, I canceled the towers. Again, going for the main base at this point is pretty pointless. He's got really a better setup at his main base. He's got the Voodoo Lounge to get healing potions. He's got the burrows. He's got a shredder even. His production is all there. And he's got buildings in front of all his towers. And I actually don't have the range upgrade yet, which is sort of dumb of me. I'm just now taking the tier 2. I really was just sort of like goofing around in this game. But generally you're going to want to get the range upgrade if you can. And at this point I could have just built like 3 or 4 glaive throwers and just rolled his base very easily. Really silly that I didn't do that, but at any rate, was in the mood just to mass the archers, and so that's what I did. And now he's going to pop out a couple raiders. The guy's probably thinking, well, I've got a level 3 Blade Master that's about to come out. I've got a couple of towers. My odds are probably pretty good. I've got a Blade Master, so, how can I lose? But all kidding aside, though, I've got like 80 food of 81 food. Not all of it's archers, of course, but most of it is archers and priestess. Trying to count that up, I've probably got maybe 20 archers or something, and I've got more on the way. Rallied, and I'm pushing into high upkeep. or 81 foods high, if you use it. But I'm going to start losing archers, and he's just going to camp his base. And without the range upgrade, the towers have 300 more range than the archers. 500 for the archers, 800 for the watchtowers. So the burrows don't quite have that much. They've only got 700, but they still do outrange the archers. So without the longbow upgrade, this is just a nightmare to try to push, especially with his Blade Master back. I did kill the Voodoo Lounge, which is sort of a, one silver lining, but he's just going to rebuild that, and it doesn't really matter. So here in a second, I'm going to just decide, you know what? There's not a real, urgency for me to push into this base. He's going to run out of gold. He's got about 4,000. My expansion, I've got, almost 8,000. So, and he can't really stop me from doing really whatever I want on the map. I can go creep anything. I can go expand anywhere. He can't really stop it. He's going to foolishly try to snipe off an archer, but he didn't have like an invulnerability potion or a healing potion or anything. And again, with that much focus fire at level 2 true shot, all these plus 17 damage, well, some of that's from true shot, but plus 10 at least from the items, gonna be easy pickings there with all these archers, and him having a melee hero. So got level 5, actually got level 3 scout owl or owl scout because it lasts even longer and it costs even less mana. So I can just throw these all over the place, and just, the extra damage would have been nice, but again, it really isn't that big of a deal. So I'm going to decide to creep this middle camp, and while I do have like 73 food here right now, I don't really want to lose any archers, and this creep camp does have a lot of DPS, especially Null Overseers, doing normal damage to, they will do tons of damage to archers with medium armor. So I want to be careful there. So I, bring some of the archers on the side and, have some of them up here at the top and pull the camp and do it very easily. And now I can heal. I get heal wards, which is a great item for this sort of strategy. Again, I can drop these heal wards behind my massive army of archers, and it's going to make pushing these towers very easy. He finally decides to actually get sort of an actual counter unit to the archers, which is going to be Tauren. Either Tauren or Grunts are pretty much some of the best counters to archers. Maybe get Bloodlust and Lightning Shield, potentially, if you want to try that. But I guess Demolishers aren't terrible either. They have really a ton of range, and their base damage is really high. So even though it's siege damage, archers have really low hit points, actually 245, one of the lowest hit point units in the game. So even lower than a peon, actually. So, but anyway, I've got a lot of upgrades, and I finally do have the range upgrade 700. So this should be a little bit easier. He's going to pick off some archers here in the back with his Blade Master. And again, he's sitting there thinking, oh man, I've got this Blade Master. He's level 3. What could this enemy do? He's just got archers. I mean, why doesn't he quit? I mean, look at this Blade Master. But no, the reality is he should have quit this game long ago if he really had any sort of awareness. Really, all he's got left now is hoping I disconnect. He is going to Windwalk with 2 hit points with several arrows on the way to hit his heroes. That was incredibly close. Not that it really matters. If I wanted to run in there with my hero and send the owl, I probably could have still killed that hero pretty easily, but not really all that focused. I'm just like running around with 90 food archers. I mean, come on. So Tauren, while I said they're a counter unit, when you've got 10 food of Tauren versus like all these archers, it's pretty pointless. I mean, even with the towers, Illumin's Grace for the archers is going to be decent to reduce the piercing damage of towers. Sort of offset the fact that their hit points are so terrible and everything like that. But a Blade Master obviously isn't going to be deterred by Illumin's Grace. So that's one of the reasons why it's really hard to like mass archers. If they get like a level 4 or 5 Blade Master with some good items, even without good items, level 5 Blade Master is going to tear through archers. And if they get level 6, Blade Storm is just going to be just another nightmare for you to deal with. Now, it's a ton of mana for Blade Storm, and you can sort of split your army and all that, but, I mean, just look at any clump of these archers. You can just run through them and follow them with Blade Storm, and just, it's just horrible. So, anyway, a little bit of trolling here. Giving butt whoopings with the WWE Championship belt. Some goofy imagery. I stayed really just to see the Starfall go and everything. So, look at the glory of the mass archer army. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, but again, a similarly sized orc army of grunts and tauren, or grunts and shaman, master shaman, tauren, grunts, master shaman, even grunts and demolishers, probably wrecks that army 9, 10 times out of 10. I mean, with even close to equal skill, probably going to be easier to run with the orc units versus archers, even with the upgrades, because like I said, the damage benefit, normal damage against archers, medium armor, is sort of compounded by the fact that for balance purposes, I assume archers' hit points were 245. So, all that extra damage is going against a really small hit point pool. And the same for the Blade Master. At level 5, he can, like, probably one or two, pretty much one. If he gets a critical strike, I think he pretty much one-shots an archer. So, I mean, that's how crazy, sort of crazy it is. And again, level 3 ability on a sort of damage hero, you might think, okay, well, yeah, that's should be par for the course. But even level 3 Death Coil, it doesn't one-shot an archer. I'm not sure which level. I don't even think level 3 Shockwave maybe doesn't do it either. So, but anyway, sort of beside the point. The main point is this isn't exactly the optimal strategy to go against Orc. Now, if they're massing Wind Riders, you might be able to get away with this. They're massing Bat Riders, maybe, but again, it's still... There are still things that Bat Riders and Wind Riders can do against archers. Harassing Wisps. If he denies me that expansion, then I don't have the capability of just massing archers to that degree. And since the Blade Master is so strong against archers, and especially towers, if I try to fight towers without an expansion to really mass, he's still going to be able to beat me, even though the units aren't really the best. Wind Riders are pretty terrible against archers. If he gets the Envenom Spears poison upgrade, that's a little different. He can get a volley off, pull back. The poison is going to do a ton of damage to the archers, and the Blade Master can sort of mop up. And again, like I say, pushing a base with archers, as you saw, was, even with mass archers, is really annoying. Once they get fortified, the fortified burrow and tower upgrade. So again, unit kills, though, by far in my favor. I got up to 100 food there at the end. He was only maxing out at 36, and that was pretty much the whole game. I was way ahead, except for like the very beginning. Hero kills, of course, he got none. I got 3. So big differences there. Resources, about 5, not quite, about 4,700 gold, extra gold mine for me. So that's, pretty substantial. I did lose a lot to upkeep, so that, holding that big army of archers, really sort of limited the resource difference. It could have been, obviously, if I had all that gold, if I stayed at no upkeep, I'd have had over 20,000 gold. So, 21,000 looks like. So yeah, I would have had twice as much gold as him instead of like 50% more. So, things to think about, but, it wouldn't have been as fun not running around with like 30 archers. So, anyway, hopefully you found this somewhat enjoyable. I'm actually going to give you a, for those of you who still listened all the way to the end, you're going to get a treat. It's going to be a special song by Jake, the Archer song, sort of appropriate here.